Good evening. Welcome, Kentucky Derby and Oaks weekend preview show. Big racing, Oldie. Journalism looks to be taking a lot of money early, a lot of talk in the Kentucky Derby coming up on Saturday. And then the Oaks. I know you and we're going to talk a lot about that race as well as the Derby. I like them both because you and I see them, I think, somewhat the same, which is going to be cool. We got Torpedo Anna running the La Troienne. That's going to be a fun race. And I'm going to let you talk about that because I like it. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. Justin, Oldie, how you doing, brother? Scotty going to join us. He was having technical difficulties. So sorry for being late, but he's going to be here. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. Looking forward to an amazing weekend of racing. 16 stakes races across 2 days at Churchill. One of the Saturday's card is probably one of the best cards outside of the Breeders' Cup you'll see.
Yes, I agree. Great racing on the turf and on the dirt.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
And
go ahead.
Deep fields as well, especially Saturday. So
I know some of those races had some big fields. I like it. It's Mr. Saletta, Chuck, Deb. It's good to see you and hear you. You have to work. So do I on Friday. Joe, Bluegrass, Dan, Bill, everybody. Thanks for being here. It's gonna be fun, Oldie. There's a lot of races, 16 of them. So let's jump in. We're gonna start at the Edgewood on the turf.
Yeah. So the Grade 2 Edgewood at Churchill. Race 5, and as wide open as a lot of the races are Saturday, this is definitely one that there were only a couple horses in this race that I thought had a chance to win, and they're both Mark Casse horses. So I put the top pick, Nitrogen, on top. I think he's just a little bit classier than Vixen. And, I like the move to 8.5. I think he's fine at 8 or 8.5. Nitrogen was a horse that David really liked as well, and had tipped to us going into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf. So, this is a horse that's performed well. It has shown some speed in the past. And looks like it's the class of the field, and gets Jose Ortiz on board to ride. And you see notes are already in from Jake there. He has this as the horse to beat as well.
So you and I see this race not identical, but mainly. I mean, I thought it was a 2-horse race between Nitrogen and Vixen. I agree with you, Oldie. I just thought and you and I talked a little bit. Some of these races I thought you could narrow quite a bit, and then you got to find the right race to maybe try to upset on Friday, I thought. But, Lush Lips faced Nitrogen. They faced each other, right, in the Florida Oaks. And Nitrogen got up and won with Lush Lips was on the lead there and kind of gave it up at the end. You see the pace there and in the racing, which is awesome with EquinEdge from watching, helps, gauge the pace, where they're going to be, who's going to sit the trip. So you have the 7 backing up kind of to the 5 or 2, Oldie. So I agree with you. I think the 5 or 2 wins the race. It was a toss-up for me. I just said, well, Vixen ran an Appalachian. Irad riding. Jose, that was Irad's first time aboard. I mean, I have not watched the race. It was a 76. It was tougher to this, and you look there and Nitrogen won. I think Nitrogen probably going to be the big favorite, but I wouldn't count out Vixen. I'm going to land on Vixen just because you land on Nitrogen. So, but I do think it's a 2-horse race. So.
Yeah, and I think Lush Lips could hang on for a piece, but and should be on the lead. But the GSR doesn't really support the 8.5 distance. Might be a little, might just stop again. It does have Pratt aboard, so there's that. But to me, that was the other horse here. If everything played out perfectly for this horse, and nobody came running late, that Lush Lips could hang on there.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I don't even think I really looked. Yeah, I was really just looking at just those two here. I didn't really have a long shot here. And Hot Rod, that makes sense. I mean, based on the trouble line, I didn't get to watch that race, Oldie, between Nitrogen and Vixen, but I could see Irad turning the tables on Jose here. But I think one of the Ortiz win the race. I saw it, Oldie, I saw it before and then you comment again, but before we go to race 6. I was looking on my sports book and they did have some prop bets, and they had a prop bet with like the Ortiz brothers. I can't remember if it was combined or what it was, but they had a prop bet. There was about 30 prop bets on the Kentucky Derby. I thought it was really interesting.
That is kind of interesting.
Yeah, they
So it's
had
probably like an over/under of wins between the Ortizes or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. So let's keep going. I'm gonna pull it up. I'll pull it up on
Yeah.
my so and Mr. Soletta, if Mike is going to the Derby, Oldie, that sounds amazing to be having a nightcap and a cigar right now.
It does, yes.
All right. So we are going to race number 6. The Alysheba.
Race number 6, um, is looks on. I mean, that there's some pretty nice horses here, but it looks on paper to be another 2-horse race. And they're going 8.5 here. You have 2 4-year-olds in Fierceness and Locked who have been locking horns, so to speak, uh, for Pletcher since the Breeders' Cup Juvenile 2 years ago in 2023. So I landed Justin on the 4 Fierceness, easy for somebody else to say. He is second pick, top win, top GSR, top SOR. That wins about 42% of the time. Fierceness, in my opinion, has been better than Locked as a 2-year-old, was better than Locked as a 3-year-old, and is likely better than Locked as a 4-year-old. And for me, with what my plan is in the pick 6 on Friday, Fierceness will be my single.
Yeah, I mean, Lockout of Blinkers last out. Obviously, the horse then romped by 9 lengths, and that was in the Santa Anita handicap, right? Going 10 furlongs. Yeah. I mean, now cuts back. You and I saw that I tried to, is there a way to try to get to Hall of Fame in this race? And I didn't see it, Oldie. I really wanted to, but I would agree with you. It's between the two of them. I think I'm gonna end up landing on Fierceness. Actually, I originally was really kind of landing on Bach, but I went back and forth on this, and I mean, to your point, I think Fierceness is beat Locked, has been better than Locked, and I'm not really sure. I think it's probably still better than Locked. So I think I agree with you from that aspect. So I would land on Fierceness, but Locked does have a shot. I'm not as confident you that I would be singling probably here. I would still have to be too deep probably, but not that I love that because they're both going to be the same price. And I haven't, but I didn't have strong confidence in either, but I would land on Fierceness.
And let me just answer Dave Crawford's question. Yes, you can bet the Derby in Illinois. You just cannot bet it in person in front of a teller at or the machines at the Hawthorne OTBs. But your ADW has the Derby, and you can bet it through any ADW app, including Hawthorne's, from what I understand.
Well, Anna, what's the discussion on this at the OTBs and can't?
So Hawthorne owes Churchill a couple $1 million for services. So Churchill has cut their feed. They can't show the Derby either, other than the NBC feed, I guess.
Interesting. Okay. Well, and I think Oldy, again, back to this race. I really wanted to try to find Hall of Fame to run a good race. So I think Hot Rod, maybe. I mean, I was trying to really like Hall of Fame and not as much Most Wanted. So Oldie, me, I don't know if you have, but I mean, maybe you could run on for second. I mean, maybe in the exacted there, you get a pretty good price. I mean, you might get a better price on Hall of Fame than Most Wanted. So
Yeah, I mean, I just thought that, you're talking about grade 1 horses in Fierceness and Locked
yeah,
versus
yes,
grade 3 horses
yeah.
in Hall of Fame and Most Wanted. So that there's a significant class difference there. And if you're telling me Most Wanted 7-2 and Hall of Fame's 4-1, no thanks. I mean that's not pricing the risk in with that big of a class difference.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if Scotty's ready to come in here. Do we have a shake of the head? We do here.
What's up, guys? Sorry about that. Having some internet issues as usual. How are you guys?
Doing good.
It's almost the Kentucky Derby, brother.
I know it's crazy how fast it goes. God. Oh, crazy.
I know it's busy for you, busy for all of us. You, Oldie, and I have all been busy. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm looking forward to it. I was hoping there was going to be a tournament that I could play, but I guess ExpressBet doesn't have it on their site.
Well, yeah, the Kentucky Derby betting challenge.
Yeah.
Instead, you're doing a show with Justin, David, and I. So
yeah,
that's your consolation prize.
well, that's okay. That's a good consolation for sure. I'm looking forward to it. What's up, everybody? Hey, Chuck, it's been a long time. How are you, David and Bill and Mark and Hot Rod in the house? Good to see everybody. So what do you guys are in this race? I like just Locked and Fierceness. I think Lock actually has a chance to beat Fierceness, actually.
I originally landed on Lock and kind of changed my mind, but I agree with you. Oldie really liked Fierceness. I think Oldie, you comment, but I agree, Sky. I thought it was between the two of them. I was saying I tried to get to Hall of Fame, but I couldn't. So it was just. But I do agree with Oldie. I think Fierceness just been better than Lock. But Oldie, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Scotty, this is what I said. Fierceness was better than Locked as a 2-year-old. Was better than Locked as a 3-year-old. And there's no reason to think that he's not better than Locked as a 4-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised when I saw 6-5 on the EE morning line on Locked. Like it was even money. It went up a little bit,
Yeah.
but and I mean, but that horse just dominated. Horses from Santa Anita have been winning too. I mean, this horse traveled, added blinkers, and look what that horse did. I mean, I mean, this is a very, very nice horse. You know, the thing about Fierceness, and I think we can agree, like, I don't know, like, for whatever reason, I never get a secure feeling. Although this horse has done, I mean, earned $4 million and 5 wins in 9 lifetime races, so that's probably not fair, but it's just I haven't felt like this is one that you can fully trust. But except when when this horse gets the lead, forget about it. But is Fierceness going to get the lead? I don't think so. I think the Hall of Fame is going to get the lead, right?
I don't know if Hall of Fame is going to get the lead or Most Wanted. For me, one of the issues for me with Locked is, look at the SOR on the Santa Anita Handicap. I mean, that was a terrible field for grade 1.
It was lower, yeah.
So
yeah, but he did it easily. So you have to look at that. That how they do it is everything too, and to beat and to win by 8.5 lengths in the Santa Anita Handicap, you're no joke. You know, it's interesting too. I mean, what has this horse done wrong? And Pletcher adds blinkers to this horse going into the Santa Anita Handicap. I mean, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I mean, not many people would do that, but it paid off.
For sure. But yeah. So
what's up, Mike? How are you? Hi, Scott. All right, you guys ready to go to race 7?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
race 7, the La Troienne Stakes, with the Torpedo Anna race that we talked about last night in our meeting. Do you mind if I kick this one off,
Yeah,
Scotty?
please. You had I know.
All you.
I
all
love
you.
the conversation we had about this last night, because I was thinking you were crazy, but the more you started talking, I'm like, okay.
All
And
right, so Oldie's crazy oak slot of the day is that Torpedo Anna's going to lose this race, and here's the reason why. Chad Brown puts it in both randomized and Raging Sea, and we'll have Torpedo Anna in what I'm going to call the Chad Brown sandwich, which involves Torpedo Anna and Brian Hernandez having to make a decision between going with randomized or sitting back and potentially letting randomized go. And if she goes with randomized, that could set up the race for Raging Sea. If she doesn't go with randomized can get very brave on the lead, as she did against Idiomatic a few times, as she almost won the Breeders' Cup Distaff in 23 on the lead. She gets brave on the lead. So, there's two ways here that Torpedo Anna could potentially lose. I also don't like the fact that this is Anna's third race in less than 2 months and is coming back on less than 3 weeks rest. And I don't understand why Kenny McPeak is running her on what essentially is a Triple Crown schedule here for a filly. I didn't like her works leading into the Apple Blossom. She was not working great, and she just didn't face anything there, so you didn't see what she had or what she didn't have. But I think if she were to lose a race, this is where it is, and I am going to drop her from my ticket altogether and just play Raging Sea and randomized here and try to beat her here.
Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, so when Oldy mentioned this, and then the first, we are in the coaching class today, Scotty, and a lot of new users, which it was cool, and a lot of people ask, oh, what do you look first? I always look at the race sim, and Oldy showed it there. I think when he brought that up, I said, randomized on the front end, and you look at randomized on the front end, and Oldy already talked about it, but the source is classy. Joel going to be up front. Yeah, Torpedo Anna, I think Hot Rod could try to stock right off, but I think Torpedo Anna, to Oldie's point, like, I'm not sure why they're running her so much. She's an amazing horse. I wanted to see her in the Breeders' Cup Classic, so I would have taken a little more easy, but I think that randomized could be brave, and I think that Raging Sea could totally turn the table ultimately. And you look at randomized, Scotty. Randomized is hit the board in 8 of 10, has won on the lead in these big races. And then you look at Raging Sea, who, yes, has faced, but 7 wins and 13 tries. I mean, Chad, to Oldie's point, I mean, he's got 1 great behind, 1 on the front. And I mean, Torpedo Anna is amazing, but both of these horses in, Raging Sea Sky being a 5-year-old mare and then randomized as well, they're not, I mean, they've raced 10 and 13 times. I still think they can beat her, is my point. So, I thought they could turn the tables on her, like Oldie said.
Yeah, it's a very nice field, you guys. Raging Sea is going to get the best of this. I have no doubt about this.
Yeah.
Because Torpedo Anna, and I agree with Hot Rod, Torpedo Anna can definitely rate, but is going to run better being near the lead. That's just her style. So, and randomized is just super fast. And I just truly believe that Chad Brown, knowing, and he's done this, he did this to McCanja, and that is he's not just going to send randomized to go with up front with Torpedo Anna. He's sending randomized, right? He's like, randomized, he's going to win this gate to wire as fast as he can go or she can go, and then Raging Sea is going to be the benefactor of that. I that's the reason why I'm going to go with Raging Sea.
I think he'll get a great price too, Scotty. I mean, I saw some lines today that were kind of fixed odds, like, near the morning line still. I mean, but Oldie, I love that you came up with what was going to happen, and just you watched the race, Sam, and I think you can see it. I mean, you look at, Raging Sea lost lost in the Distaff, but then also lost there at Saratoga. But I mean, there's other than that, this horse has not a lot of blemishes of late. I mean, has won 6 of 8 and is going to have a great pace setup. I mean, so.
Well, and if you want to cover yourself, play a Matt Miller double from Fierceness and Lock to Torpedo Anna, and then play your multis without her, because the way the pick 6 is going to pay there, the way the pick 5 is going to pay is if you beat her there, and that you're going to get a nice reward there for that.
It's amazing our conversation is about beating Torpedo Anna. It's like mind-boggling to me. Like, who would have even thought about that? But you're right. I mean, she wasn't working very good going into the Apple Blossom. She's like, this is her 3rd race in like a month and a half. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's a little much. I know it's a lot of money that we're dealing with here, and I totally get that. But man, I mean, and she had a rest from the Breeders' Cup Distaff. So, but still, it's just a lot to ask. What's going on, Brad? How are you? It's been too long. So yeah, I'm gonna take a chance that there's gonna be a lot of speed up front. And here's the thing, too, guys. In my opinion, I think Raging Sea could just win straight up. Like, I mean, and let alone there's going to be a fast paced up front. And there's no way that Chad Brown's not sending randomized. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this act before, Scotty, literally against one of your horses.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. How about let's? So we're all agreeing that we're either. Justin, are you like randomized better than Raging Sea, or where are you going?
I put Raging Sea on top.
Okay, me too. And Oldie?
I have Raging Sea on top as well.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think the randomized angle is legit.
Yeah.
But
I think you have, if you're playing a multi-race wager, I think you have to play both Raging Sea and randomized there, because there's 2 scenarios where that could happen.
Yeah. All
right. Let's go to race number 8. This is the 400,000 Modesty Stakes. And guys, I narrowed this down to 4 horses, the 2, 3, 7, and 8. She Feels Pretty is 41% to win, 6-5 on the EE morning line. And this one does look very tough. Won the American Oaks handily. And Johnny Velasquez has been the regular jockey aboard for Sherry DeVoe. And I mean, he's won 4 times on her.
Yeah, and I think we're all in agreement. I think she's the class of this field. She Feels Pretty.
Yeah.
There, I liked 4 horses here as well. What were your numbers, Scotty?
Well, the 2, 3, 7, and 8. I mean, the race is between those horses, but that's not saying much. I eliminated the 1, 4, 5, and 6, but I mean, She Feels Pretty looks really good, doing very good, but is coming off of 2 straight layoff lines. To be fair, I don't know that this is going to matter. And this is just she is such a nice filly. She is just a really nice filly. I thought gimme another. I mean, at the end of the day, She Feels Pretty is going to be very tough to beat. I think these are very nice fillies. Saffron Moon, the 8 horse, is very, very nice. At the end of the day, though, She Feels Pretty is going to win this.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, typically, so Gimme Another already had it. That first race that Grand Motion usually takes when the horse comes in the country. So, I just don't know how good this horse is and how good those grade 1s in South Africa were. The this would be one of the primary challengers. I do think Sagista has a chance to sit right off the cheap speed of the 5-horse Take Me to the Beach, who, is a synthetic horse, and, the GSR goes down 7 points there. Hasn't performed well on the turf in past races, and could just be in position to take over before She Feels Pretty can get there. And we'll have to see how the turf course is playing. But that to me was the primary upset possibility.
Give Me Another, though, was undefeated coming into this country and had almost a year layoff and got a nice second place finish in a grade 2 as a double grade 1 winner, group 1 winner. I mean, Give Me Another is a very nice horse. I found it very interesting, and I understand that it's Chad Brown, but Irad Ortiz got off of Give Me Another to ride Sagesta. That surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, so that Sagesta though goes to Irad, so that they may have not been happy with that Belmont Oaks. Oh, no, Irad was the one.
Irad was aboard Give Me Another and goes to Sagesta, right? Who's been off of a long layoff as well. And I know it's Chad Brown, but Give Me Another is like, this is won a group 1 twice, had almost a year layoff and almost won that grade 2 Hillsborough. I mean, that's surprising. I mean, Jose goes aboard, but I don't think that, obviously Irad wants to ride for Chad Brown, but he usually rides the best horse. So is he, how are we supposed to take that? Is Sagesta better than Give Me Another?
I'd put the 3 on top. I was 3 or 7 on top here, just because I thought they might be a cut above the 2 and 8. So Scotty, I saw it 3, 7, and then 2 or 8. I mean, underneath. Suggestive face, She Feels Pretty in that Belmont Oaks. I mean, she's lightly raced. Chad can't have her ready. I mean, she finished second on the lead, and she has cheap speed in front of her. She's gonna get first jump, and Irad gonna have just this perfect trip. And she might just be the first one to get first jump and beat him. I mean, It would not surprise me that she could improve. So you already commented on She Feels Pretty. That's the way I looked at it. I mean, that South African, the SORs are good. I mean, I think for motion, that horse will run well second in the U.S., but I'm on the 3, the Sky Long Shot.
Yeah, and I was 7-3-2 here, so we're pretty much all in a line there. I think the 8 has a shot as well.
Yeah,
but needs more pace to happen to run into. And might be a little more pace dependent than the 3 or the 2.
All right, let's get to race number 9, which is the 600,000 8 Bell Stakes. It's a grade 2 for fillies 3 years old, and impulse buy the 10 horse or Eclatant. One of those two, the 12 horse, is going to most likely be your favorite. I thought Eclatant looked very, very interesting. The post isn't helpful, but this horse is undefeated sprinting.
Hey, Oldy, can you pull your screen back up?
Is it not up there?
No, we lost it. Sorry, Scotty.
No, that's okay.
This happens at least once a show for whatever reason. All right, so Eclatant, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying that this one's undefeated sprinting, and and it's had 2 layoff lines in a row for Brad Cox and Luis Saez, who was aboard for the last win. So, but this is the top EquinEdge pick, and I don't love the 12 hole. And when you run the race simulator to the first call, it looks like this horse could get wide. I think Impulse Buy is a decent horse, and this one's going to rate. Broke 9th last time out and still won. This horse has 2 wins and 2 second place finishes for Ralph Bissett. I don't know how do you pronounce his name? Rudolph?
Yeah, Rudolph? I think so.
Yeah, something like that.
Rudolph, I think.
Rudolph. Anyways, and the other one, guys, I will say this too: the EquinEdge Long Shot. Don't sleep on this one. This one broke its maiden last time out. Was very green, had some issues, And it was really impressive what this horse did from the 12 hole. Mandela is an interesting long shot. So it's 7-1 on the EE morning line and 17%, and the EquinEdge long shot and the price play. It's a very interesting horse. First of all, if the 12 wasn't in that post, I'd be all over this 12 Eclaton, and I might still be. But for that reason, though, maybe Mandela might be a horse to look at.
So I have a note on Mandela because this is a Oaklawn runner. Big finish and kick, one with a future.
Yeah.
And then this horse shows up here. It's a big step up, though, in class here.
Yeah.
To this field.
It is.
I will tell you, Eclatant matches one of my angles. It's top Scotty, top win, top GSR, and top SOR, and those win about 52% of the time. Hate the post, though. I 100% agree with you. But I went Eclatant on top here, but I'll give you a different horse since you've talked about Eclatant. My second choice is Verity, the 5 horse. For Hardy, won last time out on a wet track. We may get a wet track on Friday or Saturday, or both. Beat a group of 80 SOR, which is on par with this race here. And the horse has shown tactical speed, the ability to press, and the ability to stalk and pounce as well.
Did you see the wet GSR number, though, Oldie? Like, that's insane. Like, yeah, but this horse, in my mind, has to have a wet track. But we've seen a few horses over the years that just were freaks on the mud, and I think that's what we're looking at here. And I have a note on that. If there is a wet track, I'm not even looking at anybody else besides Verity.
And we think, based on the current forecast, Scotty, we will have a wet track.
Wow.
We're hoping
that horse
it
freaked on that wet track. It freaked on that wet track. Like, it was pretty incredible to move up from a 64 group and win nicely, but then go to an 80 group and win like that. Now, there was only 4 horses in the race, but that wet number on the GSR is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's my second pick there. What about you, Justin? Where did you land here?
Oh man, I didn't like this race. Like, I mean, only in my horizontal, I would have to use a handful of horses. I'd use the 11, Look Forward. I was between the 7 and 8 on top. So you all, Scotty, you talked about Mandela. That's kind of where I was looking, but I'll talk about Blue Fire just real quick since we haven't talked about Blue Fire. But it's Jose, it's Steve. I mean, this horse ran really well at Fairgrounds, I remember. I mean, did win 2 state bred, but Louisiana they do well from a strength of race standpoint down at Fairgrounds. And I mean, just kind of romped on the lead. My assumption here, Oldie, when you look at the race sim is, I mean, there's going to be a lot of speed here. So,
yeah.
But the 6 and the 1, I'm not sure what's going on with them. You know, are they going to be on the lead? Are they going to put pressure? If not, I thought Blue Fire might be dangerous on the front end with Jose up front. I mean, gonna in that, you know, the 8 post, I mean, did run just off the lead at Delta going 7. So, I mean, maybe doesn't even need the lead, but probably does. But that would be a concern for me. I didn't really like the 1 or 6, but I thought Blue Fire on the front end could be dangerous. Yeah. I thought this race, and you guys talked with the posts of the 12 and 10, I thought you could try to beat them. So I think you could beat them with the 7 or the 8. So,
or the 5.
I agree.
I actually thought every horse in this race has at least a chance, except for the 4 horse. If you look at what in the literal here, this horse, I mean, it does have that one win at Saratoga as a 2-year-old, but just doesn't seem to fit with the rest of these. And, you know, which probably means I'm putting in the winner's circle. And it'll blow up the board.
You guys aren't big on impulse buy?
I thought impulse buy was too, you know,
lightly raced,
lightly raced, but I thought was a cut below.
I mean, it was a
Epilogue.
78. It was a 78 SOR. It was a 10 horse field. The horse broke ninth, was 6 wide, and the horse won by 2.5 lengths easily. Like there's and then Pratt jumps aboard. The horse is tactical. The horse can be close, and it's only had 4 lifetime races. It's had a layoff. It's hard to get a good read on the workouts, but they look steady and fine. And Brissett is 16% off of a layoff first race back. I just, it's the EquinEdge second pick. I think the 10 horse is very live here.
I mean, it's a horse I would use, but it's not. It was not, and the race sim, kind of played along with what I was thinking in terms of the 12 and the 5 being the top 2 there, and I kind of like the way the race sim played out.
Yeah.
In terms of that, I thought it was pretty accurate.
When the race sim has like the horse is so close like that, I have to always go back now to the handy view and really look closely at the past performances, look at their SOR, who they faced. I look at stuff like that. So because if you look at the race simulator, you're just going to be confused because every horse looks to have a chance. So yeah. I'm looking to see who's going to get a good trip and things like that. And usually in these situations, especially in races where there is some competitive speed, and there seems to be in here, then maybe take a horse that's tactical from the outside somewhere.
Yeah, and Bourbon Memory is one that we should mention as well. Here, first time dirt, undefeated. GSR basically stays the same. This horse won 2 back by almost 11 lengths.
Undefeated 4-for-4, but right. I mean, this horse has never raced on the dirt before. It's just been all synthetic. So it's just a huge, and not only that, had a perfect trip last time out. I'm not so big on this horse. But all right. So that's race number 9. Let's go to race number 10, which is the Unbridled Sidney Stakes, grade 3, fillies and mares 3 and up. And guys, I think AG Bullet's the real deal in here. AG Bullet, I don't think this field was all that tough, and AG Bullet is a very good horse.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was the worst field on the card.
That's right. We were talking about that earlier today.
But I thought there's maybe 4 horses in this race that have a chance to win. But I think it's between those 3, the 4, 9, and 5 there. And, Queen Maxima, the 9 was where I landed for my top pick.
Going to get a good trip from the outside, Oldie.
Yep. Yeah. And is tactical, is one down the hill, is one going straight. Should be fit because been going 6.5 and 6 and cutting. I like the cut back to 5.5 here because of that. Keeps JJ aboard for Mullins. I think that this horse is extremely, extremely dangerous, and that's obviously priced in here. I think Ag Bullet, or AG Bullet, however you pronounce it, I could see that horse winning too. I mean, this horse has won at a mile, won at 6.5, won at Kentucky Downs, and now is cutting back. And should be fit and ready to go here.
Yeah. What about the 3 horse, Justin, Gavia, the German bred? I mean, this horse is 2 for 2, going 5.5 on the turf the last couple of races, and facing a little bit tougher, but the win percentage actually goes up. Coming in from Fairgrounds. Do you remember this horse?
Yeah, I mean, I thought she had a huge shot here, Oldie, Scotty and Oldie. And I put her on top. I'd be 3-9, like 4-5-6. It's a turf sprint, so I thought it was tough. I thought that the biggest thing I saw, Scotty, with her is she's just not shown speed in both those starts, right? And on a turf sprint, but she's been in the 3-hole in both those races at Fairgrounds going 5.5. I mean, there's obviously going to be a lot of pace here. And so, I mean, the 5's going to be flying would be my guess. I mean, that horse is going to try to get away. So, and she fits from the SOR, Scotty, in the class. They finally got her at 5.5. I mean, Al Stahl found the spot. I mean, she won 2 in a row. All of a sudden, the GSR had gone up. I mean, the time to bet her, right, in both those fairgrounds races when that GSR flipped over from the dirt. I mean, this is what she wants to do. And you get Flavien Prat, Scotty, who hasn't been aboard, Pedrosa aboard. I mean, Pedrosa had a great meet, ran well, does good on the turf. I mean, but Pedrosa not Flavien Prat. So I thought she could still improve. I mean, 4 wins in 10 tries. She's going to have the pace, but she's going to be flying late.
I don't love her chances. You know why? The turns over at Churchill Down on the turf course, guys, is very tight. They're tight turns, and you need to be tactical. And I'm not going to say it necessarily favors speed, but you usually need to be tactical. I don't think you're coming from too far back over at Churchill Downs. So I'm looking for a horse at the second call that's going to be within 2 or 3 lengths at the most. So for me, it's 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. One of those horses for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Flavian's going to get her closer, though, Scotty. He's going to have to. It's the only way, to your point.
He can't, though. He can't. That's not her style.
I'm not saying within, but he's going to have to get the right trip. I mean, so I don't.
They would have to be a suicide duel in this race, and the 5 horse is super fast and going to take the lead. But that's at Gulfstream Park, and we've talked about that. You have very tight turns. You have a short stretch. And so going 5 furlongs over at Gulfstream and coming here to Churchill Downs, the tight turns are good, but going an extra half furlong, I wasn't really big on the 5 horse. So I think that when you look at the horses that are tactical that can sit, you really got to look at the 9 Queen's Maxima, very good, and AG Bullet would be the other one who can. AG Bullet can rate a little bit, not a lot, but can rate a little bit. Going to have to sit off the 5. If AG Bullet goes from the inside and decides to send, then I want to ask the connections if they plan on sending or not, and then I want to bet on Queen Maxima if they are.
Yeah, and Scotty, I see the race the same way you do. I do think also Crown Imperial has a little bit of a chance, as did win at 5.5 last time out, but also has shown at Kentucky Downs in 23 can come from off the pace. So. This is where I think the live long shot could be here with Saez aboard, who's red hot.
I doubt. I'm not sure if you're talking about. Seriously, he's talking about the last race or this race on the what? I think he was talking about the last race, but I'm not sure. So I'm not sure how to answer that question. But I will say this: if the tracks are all wet, then just watch the wet numbers very carefully.
Yeah. And on wet turf, upgrade the speed a little bit, typically.
Yeah. These are tight turns. So if you have a big field and you have tight turns, it's very hard to come from behind. You have to get the trip. So the best horse doesn't always win. So you're looking for that tactical horse. And when we run the race simulator, right? You're looking at the 9 horse just sitting probably in 4th. The 8's kind of fast, but I don't think the 8 can win the race. I don't think, anyways. It's going to be very difficult. Although this horse has earned $94,000 on turf, you guys. I mean, maybe you guys see the 9 at all, or the 8? I mean, Esternia.
No.
I mean, I think just they're going to be part of the pace scenario. Yeah. 71 pace number there. I don't think can rate. It's 3 of 13 lifetime. And
so
just going to have to go
going
fast.
6.5 furlongs on the turf, going gate to wire in its second lifetime start. Then it tried 8.5 in a grade 2. That didn't work out so well. I mean, the numbers are suggesting this horse can do turf or dirt. The 8 horse could be a sleeper. I mean, it really could, because if you look at the first call, it's going to be sitting off of the 4 and the 5 in 3rd place. So it's definitely not the worst looking long shot in the world. So maybe one to consider. Yeah.
All right.
All
On
right.
to the Kentucky Oaks, the $1.5 million Kentucky Oaks.
Guys, for me, I kind of like a price. I like Simply Joking, the 2-horse. I really do think the 2 is going to sit a nice trip. Ran really good off of a layoff in the fantasy, and over at Oaklawn Park. And Oldie, you know this horse. This horse can rate as well. And you know what I like about it? It ran against Quiet Side last time out, and excuse me, guys, I'm fighting a cold. But they were neck and neck, okay, in the fantasy, and it was a long way back to third. And now Quiet Side draws outside, and Simply Joking's on the inside and has tactical speed, but doesn't need the lead. I think we're going to see Simply Joking be very tough. And Good Cheer draws that outside post as well, which isn't great with no speed. So might not get the best trip. Like for me, for me, I'm playing 2 horses. I'm playing Tenma, the 9, and Simply Joking.
Yeah. So Tenma's my top pick, Scotty. We talked about this last night. 12-1 on the morning line, 5-2 on the morning line. I was actually listening to Baffert talk about her, and basically he said she hates San Anita, like she hates the track surface there. And keep in mind that she's won the last 2 races there, but her one loss was there. He said the track is deeper and sandier, and since she's come to Churchill, she's just flying across the surface.
Wow.
And he basically said what I was thinking the thought of the race should be here, which is that Tenma will sit between the speed and the closers. He thinks she'll get in the clear because there's so many closers here and so much speed, and could get a really easy trip here.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of if she's good enough. And I think she is. And I think she'll get first run ahead of Good Cheer, Ballerina d'Oro, Take Charge Milady, Quick Kick, all those closers here, Drexel Hill. And, she's going to have a big shot here. And we've seen in some of the advanced wagers, as well as the Justin looked at BetUS, that she's hovering around 8 to 10 to 1 as well. So there's some real value there for her, and some real value on the on things like the Oaks Derby double as well.
She to me, Oldie, because Scotty, I agree with Oldie. I have Tenma on top.
Yeah.
I do like Simply Joking. I had Simply Joking third behind Good Cheer, but Oldie, Tenma, I mean, the value on her is insane. It's probably going to be the best.
There won't be any value unless you're getting fixed odds, Justin. You're not going to get 12-1.
You go bet her right now. I bet her.
I would listen. I've been looking everywhere. Please, somebody tell me. Somebody give me 12-1 odds on Tenma. I'll take it right now.
It was 8 to 1 as of last time I saw on the advanced wagering on Twin Spires. So I would take 8 to 1 all day here. I think I really think this is likely a 2-horse race between her and Good Cheer. I think Quiet Side is getting over bet because there just was nothing else in this Filly group once Immersive got hurt. So it was really just those 2 out east, and then Tenma's been the one out west. And so I really think Quiet Side, he has had some perfect setups and perfect races, and that's not going to happen here with Lakara, Simply Joking, 5G as well, who I think has a chance underneath and is a very talented horse. And if they can figure out how to rate that horse, that's another horse I thought could be dangerous and was my third pick here.
Guys, Good Cheer, of course, is undefeated. 6 for 6 lifetime. She's earned $880,000. Did you see in the Rachel Alexandra? I don't remember this, Justin. 92% to win. That has to be the highest win percentage on a horse I have ever seen.
Yeah, that's insane.
There were only four horses, though.
We've occasionally seen something in like the 90s, but that's not common.
No.
I mean, she's got a big shot. I mean, she's obviously won 6 in a row. I mean,
But I mean, I thought she would have a bigger win percentage, and she doesn't. I mean, she's going to be finishing. I mean, she's nice, but I mean, she's human in this race, anyways.
Well, that also tells you how poor the quality of horses she's faced is. Because, even though it was an 80 in the last one, with that win percentage going down with a field like this, that tells you she wasn't facing the deepest fields.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, Brad, sorry, Sky. Brad said that Tenma is on odds checker 16-1. So, Brad, I show on Bet Online you can lock in fixed odds at 9-1 currently on Tenma. So
yeah, and
Rusty, half the player.
At this price, I didn't understand why she wasn't the second choice coming into this race, and the E-Morning Line's telling you as well at 5-2 that this horse should have been the second choice on the morning line.
Yeah.
So and the win percentage, that's the second highest win percentage as well. Getting picked up by the long shot algorithm. There's a lot of things pointing to her here.
So it looks like too. Dan was saying, anyways, that Simply Joking it had some really high rated works, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can see she ran like a 58, 1 of 56 back in April. And then she also ran, 1 of 33 back in March. I mean, she obviously was working well for Whitworth Beckham prior to. I mean, she's lightly raced. I mean, she could improve. I mean, the morning line likes her too. She's second pick.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you guys, let's we're done with Oaks Day. You ready to go to Kentucky Derby Day?
I'm as ready as you are.
Okay. All right, let's do it. So we've got, we'll start with race number 5. Is that where we're going? The graded races only, or are you doing the other stakes race too?
We could do this one too. We don't have to take long.
Race number 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so the $200,000 Knicks Go overnight. No, wasn't Knicks Go a New York bred oldie?
No, I think it was Kentucky bred.
Well, very fast, right? It needed the lead, right?
Yep, absolutely. Ran a near world record opening. I think it was 3/4 of a mile with Flightline, and then just petered out.
Yeah, but I mean, really had a good run for a couple of years.
Yes, for sure.
Very, very nice horse. All right, so in this race, Oldie, what are you thinking?
So I went with the 9-horse Liberal Arts on top here for Brad Cox. I think this horse has had start trouble the last couple times out. You see rank and tight break. I think if he gets back to the starts and positions that this horse needs to be in, in the previous 2 in the Churchill and Fairgrounds race, that this horse has a big shot here. I did not think this was the deepest field either, even though there's a lot of horses here. So I really thought the Scotty top pick here, Liberal Arts with Saez aboard, is going to get a good ride from Saez. Hopefully will relax coming out the gate second off the layoff. And you're going to get 3-1 or 7-2 here, hopefully.
There looks to be some speed in here. Best Actor is going to be fast. Patriot Spirit's going to be fast. The 2 Osborne seems fast. Maybe somebody tactical. It's a 1-turn mile.
Yeah, I mean, so who did you go with on top here, Scotty?
I didn't handicap this particular race, so I'm doing it with you as you're talking. Justin, did you like something in here?
Do I like something? I thought this race was. I think those posts are brutal. Oldie, and the 9 has no speed with that post, and I just could not get down with it. I couldn't get down with the 10 in that post either. I just kind of took a little bit of a flyer with Jose and Joe Sharp on the 3, Scotty Accretive. I mean, 12%. I mean, ran at Evangeline Downs. I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh. But this race I thought it was wide open for a stakes race. But I thought this horse might be able to sit the trip a little bit, Scotty. I mean, it came way off last down to 68, but faced Tough Allowance Company at Fairgrounds and raced at Churchill versus, similar last fall.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really don't have an opinion in this race. I thought it was tough. I thought the 12 Patriot Spirit also could just wire the field, to be honest. I mean,
well, here's the thing.
Just send and hope to be gone.
But the thing is, he doesn't need the lead. I like, this is the horse you've got to beat. 4 wins in 12 races. The horse likes to win. And this is a very, very nice horse. Gets off of the rail, dueled last time out. Prior to that, kind of the same thing. Wasn't really meant. Is 7-1 on the morning line. I mean, I'm just looking at this for the first time. But when I run this race, this horse is over at Oaklawn Park, anyways, going a mile, got second. But I think this horse runs a really nice race.
Yeah, well, and I think the 7, who I took out here, the 7's an older horse and hasn't shown speed the last couple times out, including last year's Knicks Go, and then switches out of the Brad Cox barn. So what if this horse at age 6 just doesn't have that speed anymore?
Well, even if it goes,
so dangerous. I mean, even if
who's going to go? The 2's going to go as well from the inside. So you're going to have the 2 and 7 go, and the 12 just sits on the outside cruising. Like I'm going to play this 12 for sure.
And then I had the 6 underneath, and I think the 6 has a big shot here as well. Nearly won the Evangeline Downs Mile, same race that the 3 is coming out of.
Yeah,
and I think might get a better trip here than the 3.
Yeah, Kapuna 5. I think the horse is more likely for second, Oldie. This one, especially at this level, but this horse has got 8 second place finishes.
Yeah.
So that might be a nice bet.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that this horse always runs an honest race.
Yeah.
And you're going to get this horse to show up whether he wins or not. Finished second in the slop last year in this race as well.
All right, let's go to race number 5. And this is the $750,000 Longines Churchill Distaff Turf Mile Stakes. It's a Grade 2 race for 4-year-old mares and up. And Sacred Wish looks very, very good in here to me. 5-2 on the morning line, 25% to win. Top EquinEdge pick. Last couple of races, those have been very tough fields, but the win percentage goes up here. And this is the second race off the layoff. And I think Sacred Wish is going to be very tough here. I think Johnny Velasquez, by the way, is going to have a nice weekend, you guys.
I agree that Sacred Wish has a big shot here, Scotty. But I put the 2 moving on up, the Jefferson horse here on top, because first of all, this horse is fast and tactical for Safi. Is a huge step up in class, but I thought this horse has a chance on the front end as potentially lone pace here.
Yeah,
even though
and also our Jose Ortiz actually got off of the 8-horse pull side with Slim, who looks like a competitor in here, and also the 4-horse who doesn't look like a competitor, but to ride moving on up. So I'm not really surprised by that. Do you think moving on up is going to get the lead in here?
I think he could, because pull side with Slim really hasn't shown speed in a while, and
draws inside,
and pull side with Slim hasn't broken well either.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a big chance here that moving on up could get an easy lead here. Doesn't need it, but could get it.
I love, by the way, I look for that when I run the first call in the race simulator, you guys. I love to look for horses that the race simulator says can be on the lead, but they don't need it. I love that. And then draws a really good post position on these tight turns. I think moving on up is going to be super, super tough. You're going to have to beat the Safi Joseph trainee for sure.
Yeah, I mean the 6 and the 2 to me were. I thought the picks had it in this race.
Well, 6 is the only Grade 1 winner in the race as well.
Yeah, and that's a great angle in these spots too.
Yeah, it is. What about the 7 horse tax implications for Chad Brown? A couple of layoff lines in a row,
and kind of a money burner, even against weaker.
Yeah.
I thought this horse had a shot though. I saw this as 7.62. I almost put Sacred Wish on top, but I tax implications was this when it was probably the sneakiest long shot I saw in all the cards, because in this race, I mean, tax implications is faced Special One, has faced Sacred Wish in those past races. I mean, didn't run awful. Flavian Pratt gets back aboard. This horse was not breaking well. Was bump last out in the Honey Fox. I mean, and just didn't break, was in the 1 hole. Now gets back outside. I mean, you can see ran on at Del Mar and then at Woodbine, right? But now, I mean, you know, the win came at 8.5, has been running at 8, but there's, I think with the pace, it's not a ton, right? Which is Oldie why I thought that moving on up at a shot, but I think Flavian probably going to get a similar trip, Scotty, to those races that he rode in the past, getting back aboard.
I don't trust this horse. The horse in the last 3 races is broken horrible. Like Oldie said, the horse has been a money burner. It lost in an optional claiming. I know it was off of a little of a layoff, but that was only 2 months. It's just one of those horses. I don't trust it. Not only that, you're talking about Sacred Wish and moving on up that are on their game, fit and doing well. And for tax implications, the win's going to be not going to be an easy feat.
I just thought this race is not. At least
I think the picks have it, Justin. I do. I think this is between the 6 and the 2. The only other one, although the EE Morning Line didn't love the horse, was Special One, the 10 horse. I mean, it's a talented horse, but it's got 4 layoff lines in 8 lifetime races, but it's been in the money in 7 of 8 races lifetime. I still think it's a cut below these, but of course, Brendan Walsh is one of the best turf trainers in the country,
and maybe a sprinter too.
Yeah, that's true.
But I agree. Special One has a shot there. What do you think of the 9 Simple in front with the big GSR there?
I think the horse is a better sprinter. That's what I think.
Okay.
I mean, at this level, this is a high level. I think this horse, has no chance. It looks like a sprinter to me, and it's been, it's run some decent races, but it's also not a good breaker, and that's just not a good recipe here in these tight turns, right? So, sure. I personally don't care for the horse.
All right, let's move on to race 6 here, the Pat Day Mile.
Pat Day Mile. Justin, what are your thoughts?
I thought this was a 2-horse race between the 4 and the 5, Smoking Wicked, Gate to Wire. I'm going to land with Flavian and Gate to Wire. I caught quite a few horses out of this race. I know Madacat rode the top pick for Bob Baffert, but I thought that Flavian here, 1-2 back in the 74 in the swale at Gulfstream. Was sprinting 7, now stretches out to 8. Shouldn't really be an issue, I don't think. They cut back from the 2 churns, so I thought it was the right thing to do. But that's why I landed on Gate to Wire, Scotty.
I think Madacat Road is going to be in big trouble in here, in my opinion. There's so much speed in this race. And I landed on the Gate to Wire as well. I think the 5 horse is looks tough. I mean, look, faced Sovereignty last time out. Pratt's aboard. So, I mean, there's just nothing like that in here. I think this field on paper looks decent, but it's really not all that great. And I think Gate to Wire, the Gate to Wire was actually kind of closing a little bit last time out. I mean, you're talking about Sovereignty in this race. I mean, you're talking about the Fountain of Youth. There isn't that race was way tougher than what's on here. I know that the SOR looks the same, but it's not in my mind. Like Gate to Wire, he's going to find this field much to his liking.
So I went elsewhere here. I went with the 6 Gaming on top, and Scotty second pick, second highest win percentage. That wins about 20% of the time. It's kind of the disappointment of the Derby Trail for Baffert. Did its best running as a 2-year-old and hasn't run to its works because it works very well in the mornings, but really has shown its ability in mostly one turn and sprint races, and gets back to a 1-turn mile here. And gaming, game winners for the most part have not shown that they want to go long. And I think this horse has a big chance to bounce back here, going from the 2-turn mile at Oaklawn to the 1-turn mile here at Churchill.
I mean, it was 60% to win last time out. It wasn't that long of a layoff it had, and it got second place finish and disappointed in the hot springs. Right?
Agreed, but it also did, that there was a early pace advantage of basically a lone pace in that race.
Yeah.
And the horse just couldn't get to the lone pace in that race because that's not.
But I mean, but the thing about it is, like, the horse 3-back lost at 50 cents on the dollar in the La Salle Futurity. The Southwest didn't even show up at all. Like, and then you're looking at a horse like Gate to Wire that ran not bad against Sovereignty and some really nice horses, you know what I mean? And then won the Swale Stakes by 5 lengths. I don't know. It's like, I just, to me, like, I think Gaming's going to be one of the favorites, but I think Gate to Wire is just a much better horse.
Yeah, I'm not huge on Gate to Wire. He's basically run one good race, and that was the Swale at 7.
But lightly raced, Oldie still.
Well, no, but I mean,
no, all these are lightly raced, though. I mean,
well, hold on. Let me just make this point real quick. So if he won his first lifetime start, then got second from the rail in a grade 3, right? And then in the next race was in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, right? So I mean, you can throw throw that race out at 26 to 1. Then comes off of a layoff and doesn't run good on the synthetic. So they throw him on the synthetic. Then he goes in the Swale at 7 furlongs in the dirt and wins by 5 lengths, and then goes in the Fountain of Youth. Like, I think that I don't necessarily. This horse has had legitimate excuses, and this will be the first race where there's no excuses for him. And what he showed in the Swale over at Gulfstream Park, going 7 furlongs, I think a mile is right up this horse's alley. I think we're going to see one of his best races. I mean, the Swale was pretty impressive, but I think we're going to see a really big race from him.
Well, because Oldy and I mean, I agree with Scotty. Just, I mean, they cut back here. I mean, this horse just probably wants to sprint, and there's nothing wrong with the 6 race selections from the connections. I think, we were talking about that earlier on a text. I mean, they wanted to obviously try an effort at the Derby to go 2 turns. Maybe this horse doesn't want to do it, but when you look back in the juvenile sprint, you can toss the last race out and you can toss the sprint on the turf, and then there's nothing really wrong with those other efforts. But
I mean, the Futurity at 6 furlongs on the turf, was
the favorite,
and I did not think the Gate to Wire's effort in the Fountain of Youth was good. That was a terrible field.
But the horse maybe don't want to go 2 turns. I mean, the horse is.
I'm making the same argument about Gaming not wanting to go 2 turns, and Gaming's faced better horses.
Okay, first of all, Gate to Wire is going from winning the Swale at 7 furlongs in the dirt, and all of a sudden now going 2 turns, 8.5 furlongs in the Fountain of Youth against horses like Sovereignty. I mean, and still at the stretch was only 2.25 lengths back. Some of these things, these races can be deceiving. That was a really, really good effort. This horse probably wants to be shorter. One turn on the dirt is what this horse wants, and we're going to see a big effort from this horse. Watch.
All right, I'm going gaming. You guys are going gate to wire.
Okay, whatever.
Well, the Oldie, I want to talk about, because you and I think, agreed on, well, the one horse in Oldie, I want you to talk about it, because I think, can you talk about the 4? Because I thought that horse actually had a little bit of a look in a race like this.
Looks like a sprinter. I mean, this horse is an
speaking of a horse that wants one turn, that
yeah,
yeah,
that Dallas Stewart just kept throwing places like 8 furlongs, 8.5. I think probably, 1 turn miles too long for this horse. But, if this horse can return to that form, and didn't run poorly in the Lafayette last time out at 7, if it can run back to that form as a 2-year-old, I think this horse has a shot, and I think is a live long shot here at 12-1.
guys, I'll give you a horse. If the track is wet, then watch Built very carefully. If the track is wet.
Okay.
Yeah.
If the track is wet.
I mean, Built ran huge in the Lecomte. I mean, that's where Built, the drop.
From the 12 hole too.
But Built wants longer all day.
Well, I know. Yeah,
and that's the thing. It's the opposite of the arguments about gaming gate to wire and smoke.
No doubt about it. You're absolutely right. But he did win going 7 furlongs on the dirt, breaking his maiden over at Keeneland against some very nice horses. So this horse is capable. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it looks like this horse wants longer. The longer, the better. But like I said, on a wet track, I think Built could win this race.
It's very possible. I mean, it's definitely Built's, I believe, my second or third pick here. So, right.
Same with me, unless it's wet. All right, let's go on to race number 7, which is the 600,000 Twin Spires Turf Sprint, and looks like a very, very competitive race. And I actually have a horse I really like, and I think is it going to be a bit of a sleeper, I think. But Oldie, why don't you start us off and tell us what you think?
All right, so in race 7, I ended up putting, and you're going to yell at me because you yelled at me when I used this horse previously. I ended up putting Coppola on top again, and may prefer 5 furlongs, but from some of the research I did and things like that, I think this horse coming off the layoff wasn't fully souped up last time out at Keeneland at 5.5. And Romans does much better second time off the layoff than he does first time off the layoff. He does not typically have them ready to run. And it looks to me like Coppola could get a pretty easy lead here because No Balls hasn't been showing that kind of speed, and neither is One Timer. So if you downgrade those 2 horses, you have a 33-point pace advantage to run Carson here. And I just think that that Keeneland race might have been a prep for this race, and Romans does point typically towards Churchill, not Keeneland. So
this is a 5 furlong horse, and the stretch is longer. This is a 5 furlong horse.
Like I said, you might yell at me about making the same mistake twice here, but
we talked about this before. You liked this horse, and I last time out, I'm like, this horse has no chance. It's going to get the lead, and it's going to stop, and it's the same thing is going to happen here. This horse is going to stop. I really believe that. Like, and I love speed horses, and I know you do too, but I don't see it. Like,
okay, but remember 2 years ago when I was sitting with you at the Derby at Gulfstream, and No Balls blew up the board at like 20-1.
Yeah, I remember.
On the lead here, when we thought there was way too much speed and that horse was going to stop.
Yeah.
Strange things like Coppola winning on the front end of this race happen at Churchill on days like this.
Yeah. So What do you think, Justin?
Who did you land on, Scotty? Who
So okay, so
wait, I'll go.
yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was thinking you mentioned somebody, but I think it just got mentioned. I ended up landing on Rogue Lightning. I keep landing on Flavian Pratt on a lot of races, but they got this horse into the US, Scotty, and ran just huge in the Shakertown over at Keeneland at 5.5 and had been running at 5. And I was like, well, maybe that's, and I didn't get a chance to look up the 1,200 meters, but I assume maybe that was 5.5, or I don't know, maybe it's 5, but ran really well there. And I mean, the SORs came across really strong. I mean, this horse is just a pure sprinter. I think it's a great post there. It's got that kind of weird speed kind of up front of whatever's going to go on with Coppola and Nobles. And, I just thought could sit a great trip. I really struggled. The reason why I was asked, I kind of struggled between Rogue Lightning and Run Carson. That was but I ended up landing on Rogue Lightning.
So I'm on Run Carson. Look, this horse drew the rail last time out, broke slow. And, 4 of these horses that are in this race come out of that race. Rogue Lightning was in that race on 4-8, the Shakertown, Think Big, Run Carson, and Coppola. And Run Carson had the worst of it in that trip. Second off the layoff. And I think this horse is super, super alive. And we might see 7-2, 4-1, 5-1. And I'm all over Run Carson. I think Run Carson's going to be closer to the pace now. If you run the race simulator, I was really surprised to see how close the horse was. So it's not going to be too far back and going to get a really nice trip. The 7's going to be far back on the outside. So I think the problem here is on this stretch and the tight turns, I don't like Think Big at all. I think Think Big is going to be way too far back. And so I'm going to be all over the 6-horse Run Carson to get a much, much better trip than from the rail last time out.
Well, let me give you a second choice that's going to trip out here. And that's Arrest Me Red. If Coppola stops here, Arrest Me Red's won 3 in a row, has a win at 5.5 against a 72 SOR group, is tactical, and is in excellent form. Like I said, won 3 in a row. Second off the layoff as well for Ward here. He's 22% in that move, and you're getting a square price of 6-1 here. So if Coppola stops, I think Arrest Me Red has a big look here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't love this horse, but you can't say anything negative about this horse as well. So I think it might be a little bit light here with this class. I mean, it's never won a graded race. It's been winning, won a non-graded stakes race last time out, barely against 4 other horses, and I know that was on the synthetic, and the GSR goes up here, and it's right there. I just think this field's a little bit too strong for this horse. But wow, what a nice gelding this is. 10 wins in 24 races for $1.3 million. But I just think this horse could be light here.
And 1.16 million on the turf as well there. But I will say, throw out the turf sprint, this race last year, because the horse broke poorly and got destroyed, and just was never a factor. But ran well at Ellis against a similar group in the Kentucky Downs preview turf sprint there. So
yeah,
I think this horse likes 5.5. I think it's going to sit right behind Coppola there, and may just be able to stalk and get the trip here.
You know what I worry a little bit about the 8-horse Rogue Lightning, Justin, is it's the only one that can really keep up with the 1-horse Coppola. And maybe he might be too close to the speed, right? And that's a possibility
for Rogue Lightning.
For Rogue Lightning, yeah, might be too close. So Pratt last time out was pretty close to the pace,
yeah,
and and that was against Coppola, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing about it is Coppola is projected to be a couple of lengths in front at the beginning, in this race. So yeah, so that leaves Rogue Lightning to press early on, which then the horse that's going to probably be sitting in 3rd or 4th will be Run Carson and really get a nice trip. I think Big's going to finish again, but the problem is might be too far back and leave himself too much to do late.
I will also say that if for some reason the 2023 version of No Balls shows up here. No Balls could be a factor.
Yeah.
With Corrales aboard. I think One Timer is a cut below No Balls, and also a cut below these in terms of form. But we've seen stranger things happen, and Loveberry's aboard there. So,
Yeah. So, all right. So, Oldie, you're on.
I'm on the one Coppola.
Okay, of course you are. You are a stubborn man.
Trying to blow up the board here.
Yeah, and then Justin, you're on the 8.
I'm sticking with Rogue Lightning, although, like I said, I think your horse, Run Carson, I think has a big shot. So.
Yeah, you were saying you were trying to choose between those two. I think Rogue Lightning has a really great shot too. I mean, you got Flavian Pratt aboard who's going to be sitting in the first position, like so. Yeah. And that was a really amazing run, first time in the country last time out over at Keeneland. So, I mean, I think Rogue Lightning, who knows? Maybe the horse to beat on paper is Rogue Lightning, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might be the favorite, right? And Jared, we're going to talk about East Avenue later, so don't leave.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to race number 8, which is the $1 million Churchill Downs Stakes, Grade 1. And is it all about mind frame, Oldie, or no?
I hate mind frame here. I'm not using him.
Oh.
I don't think mind frame's a sprinter.
I think I agree with Oldie, Scotty. Oldie, okay. Keep going.
And I think there are just others here that will present a better price and are better at this distance and want to do this. And yeah. I think that the presence of mind frame and fierceness are because Rapoli wants to win on Derby Day. He wants to win something on Derby Day. So, and that weekend. But for me, the most interesting horse here, and the one that I really have a problem deciding what to do with, is Nisus. The undefeated 10 horse for Baffert, who was going to be the favorite in the Derby that he was going to have to transfer out to somebody, and then the horse got hurt. But hasn't run in more than a year. And Bob I did see an interview with him where he said that he's not sure if he's going to end up scratching this horse. He hadn't made up his mind yet.
Yeah.
He wasn't sure if the horse liked the service enough. That was like 2 days ago. I haven't heard anything yet. If he stays in, I would assume Bob's saying he's ready. If he doesn't stay in, obviously that's a message to you as well. And I'd watch for him sometime this summer in New York.
Yeah.
But that's where I ended up landing on top. But it was very, very, very close in this race. I thought this race was wide open.
Justin?
I put Mulligan on top. I would agree probably with, I was against mind frame, Scotty. So, I mean, it kind of then made the race a little wide open, I think, like Oldie said. But I thought, I mean, you have Louis riding, Brissett. I hadn't really landed on a lot of Louis horses. And then I saw here, I'm like, I mean, Mulligan hasn't shown that has to have the lead. I mean, he's going to be right there. And I think just Louis been riding so well. And I thought this was probably one of his stronger mounts. I mean, I know it's going to be a short price, but maybe you get 3-1 because Mindframe going to take money with Mulligan. But, I didn't worry. I worry a little bit about the post, but I just didn't think this was a necessarily great group if you got around Mindframe. So I thought Mulligan, Scotty, coming from both those 82s, a Breeders' Cup Sprint going 6, and then an Aqueduct going 8. I mean, this horse should have no issue going 7. It's won 520,000 in 5 races and has won at Churchill. So I just thought it would be tough here.
Yeah, I was leaning towards Mulligan. The 7-horse Mindframe got tired late last time out, guys, off of a layoff. That was a long layoff too, in a grade 2 mile, and still won the race, but was slowing up, no doubt about it. It wasn't impressive. But this horse broke its maiden at 7 furlongs by 13 3/4 lengths. And everything, when I look at the breeding for this horse, everything is pointing towards this horse being, wanting as long as possible, right? And even when I look at the new GSR that we're testing, it's saying that Mind Frame wants longer. But that the horse had to have needed that last race. And so, I got you. This horse has done nothing wrong. I mean, what a very nice animal this is. And I think that this horse is going to maybe get overlooked. I wanted to like Mulligan a lot. In fact, I put that as my top pick, but I don't like that post at all. And I know the horse has some speed and might even be on the lead, Justin, but
Yeah.
I think this race is wide open. If you take the race simulator and you eliminate Mind Frame, then you have a vertical line on 6 horses. 7 horses, the 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So we could get, if Mind Frame doesn't run and really does want longer, and Mulligan didn't like that wide post and doesn't show up and run, although this is a very nice horse, like you said. If that does happen, now this race is wide open. Is it the 3 horse then? Is Bookham Dano the obvious choice to come in third? Maybe.
I think Extra Anejo has a big shot here. Just with if Giant Mischief and Mulligan all go and Nisus and Mind Frame doesn't want the distance and Nisus isn't ready. I think Extra Anejo really has a big shot for Asmussen. His sprinters have been running very well.
Yeah.
And, that this horse has shown speed in the past, is tactical, but probably will be closing here. And, I think could get the setup.
Yeah.
I think is in better form than Bookham Dano.
Yeah. Bookham Dano is a nice horse, though, Oldie, right? I mean, it went on the shelf 2 races back in the Cigar Mile, but I mean, this horse is, if you really look, if you ignore the race before the horse went on the shelf, if you do, I mean, what a nice animal this is.
But also, I don't know whether to consider this just a brisk workout, because the way that track was playing at Colonial was only a 3-horse race. He didn't really face anything. He was almost he was 0.3 to 1 there. So to me, I just don't know that Bookham Dano is back into the form. And even if he was, is he in the form that he could beat or finish in the money in an 84 group, which is the toughest he's faced?
Yeah. I mean, what a nice horse. I mean, they've got a nice one there. I mean, this horse has earned $1.1 million in 12 races with 7 wins. Like, can you imagine having a horse like this? How much fun! And it's just, that's really good for Derek Ryan. Yeah. But I think this is a very tough race. Mind Frame looks like it's bred to go long, but it's also very talented. It has tactical speed. Yes, it was slowing up last time out, but it probably had every right to slow up. If you watch it on paper, it wasn't that impressive late, and the horse had to hang on. But it's a tough call. I think this is one of the tougher races that we've handicapped so far.
Well, Scotty, I will tell you, this horse has had the lead in the stretch in all 5 races and has been caught in 2 of them. So that tells you what you were seeing there in that Gulfstream Mile is what this horse always does, which is slow up towards the end and just wasn't facing the field good enough to catch him there.
I know, but to be fair, like in the Haskell Grade 1, that SOR was an 80. I mean, what a tough field that was at Monmouth, and the horse stumbled at the start, and then got the lead in the stretch, and lost. I mean, that's a nice race. And the race before that was an 82 SOR in the Belmont, and the horse almost won that race from the 10 hole and was 5 wide. I mean, this is a nice horse, you guys. Like, I'm just more worried about, does the horse want longer against this kind? Yeah. I don't know, but I'm not going to be surprised this horse wins by 5 lengths. This is a very talented horse. I have a feeling it's going to get overlooked a little bit, but we'll see. All right, let's go to race number 9. We could talk about this forever on this race. This is the $1 million American Turf Stakes, Grade 1 for 3-year-olds. And Zulu Kingdom is going to be your favorite. 4-1 in the odds makers morning line. I'm not really sure why, but I have no doubt that's going to be your favorite. Won the Columbia non-graded stakes race over at Tampa. I don't know how much confidence does Chad Brown have in this horse by sending this horse over to Tampa. What do you think, Oldie?
He loves Tampa. So that Chad loves the turf at Tampa. He runs a lot of horses there. So I wouldn't read anything into that. I believe that was that might have been Tampa Derby Day on the 8th. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
First off, it was first off the layoff, coming back as a 3-year-old after running in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. And this was Chad's best 2-year-old runner as well. So I think for me, Zulu Kingdom was on top for me, and I think this horse has a big shot here.
Justin?
I agree with Oldie, Scotty. Oldie, I agree with you. I was looking at both the 2 and the 5 test score, and is it Scipio? Both came out of the Grade 3 Transylvania over at Keeneland. But and maybe, Flavian rides here and rides for Chad and gets off the 2, which Rispoli jumps on, and Flavian had been riding in California, but he probably always going to choose Chad. But I also just thought Zulu Kingdom probably sit the best trip and it's probably the best horse in this race, Scotty. So, I thought I had the ability to come off that. Even that race was at Tampa where the 2 and the 5 went and kind of raced, before getting to the Grade 1 race in that Grade 3, but I think Zulu Kingdom's a nice 3-year-old.
So this is one of my best bets of the day. And that is Scipio.
Oh, okay.
I love Scipio. First of all, Rispoli is riding absolutely in fuego. Like everything I have bet on. Can you guys believe this? Like everything I'm betting on Rispoli's winning. And yeah.
You were due, though. You were due.
I was due. Yeah, he owed me. And he's caught up. But that was not a great trip at all in the Transylvania. And that horse was best in that race. A way better setup from the inside this time out. And I absolutely love Scipio. I hope we get every bit of 12-1. That's not going to happen. And Rispoli I think we can count on Rispoli to give this horse a really good ride. And the fact that it's the EquinEdge long shot is just an extra bonus to me. I love Scipio.
Well, I like hearing that. That's really, I was trying to narrow, so that's good. I'd definitely be playing. This would be a race, Scotty, that I probably would play a vertical bet in. I would think on the turf, whether it was the super or the try, because the supers will be $1, right? So, but I love hearing that.
That's actually a really good point that Dan makes too. And it's, I had that horse Galicia Spirit, who was a very talented horse. And the turf course, he ended up getting a chipped knee. The turf course over, unfortunately, at Gulfstream Park. Well, they changed it, so I don't know about the new one, but and unfortunately, Galicia Spirit's not going to run again. But so I understand why Dan would say that. So I don't know about the new one. I don't know if it's that way or not. I know they replaced it, but the turf course has not had the best reputation. So hopefully they've figured that out, because we need Gulfstream Park. Yeah. So, but all right, Oldie, what are your thoughts? You just think Zulu Kingdom is going to win?
I think Zulu Kingdom's going to win. I had Ironman Cal, who actually beat Zulu Kingdom in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf in second for D'Amato with Frazier. I did not like Scipio. I was down on my list. I thought test score 10-1 on the morning line, 3-1 on the morning line. Beat Scipio last time out at Keeneland. Might not mind the moisture in the turf too that will likely be there on. And we have not really talked about the fact that it's supposed to be wet on Saturday as well. But I think that the test score may benefit from that as well. So I
found test score to be a bit of a one paced, and I felt like first of all, I watched the video and that horse had a perfect trip in that race, and Scipio was best in that race, and Scipio did not get a good trip, and I think that's going to be the reverse this time out. So I think, that was only Scipio had a terrible trip and was only a length and a quarter back. And
Well, I'm
the
just going to
Foley's
caution
riding
you
very
to
good.
read the trouble lines on Scipio, because Scipio always has a trouble trip. Even in the wins, Scipio always has a trouble trip. And, against this level of horses, it's going to be tough to win with a trouble trip.
I think he's real. I think this horse is really coming into his own. That's what it seems like to me. And so I really like what I'm seeing. I mean, that was a really poor trip last time out. And that for that horse, you got to, it broke its maiden and then goes over and wins the non-graded stakes race over at Santa Anita down the hill. So it's doing something for the first time and facing winners and then wins that race. It's just not an easy thing to do. And then you go into grade 3, go across the country, no problem, break 9th, have a terrible trip, 6 wide, and only lose by a length and a quarter. It means you have talent. And you've been 2 seconds, 2/3, 2 first, 2 seconds, 2/3, and 7 lifetime tries. It's a very nice horse. I think this horse has some upside for Richie Baltas.
Well, I'm going to say tight turns as well. No speed on Scipio. I just, and always finds trouble. For me, it's a use underneath, but not on top.
All right. So Oldie and Justin are on the 7. Justin does think the 2 horse has a shot as well, right?
Let me give you one other thing that could happen here. If either the 4 or 8 scratch, the other one's going to be lone pace here. And Mio Baggio, I think, is the better of the 2 of them. Completely laid an egg at, my notes actually say something meaner than that, but at Keeneland last time out at 8.5. But, could get an easy enough lead. If you look at Charlie's to Blame, the 8 horse as well, it's all speed. And, obviously didn't like the synthetic. GSR said it wouldn't like the synthetic, and it ran like that. But it's coming back to turf, and it did win for Peter Erden at Gulfstream, a place he doesn't typically run or win. So, either one of these, I think, has a shot if the other one scratches. But I think if they're both there, neither of them have a shot.
All right. One last word on this race, Justin?
No, because well, that's not true. Yes, I like your 2 horse as well. So I think this would be a try or super race. Like I said, I'm not sure who yet, but I'm with you on the 7 and 2. I think test score. Maybe you get some value on those horses. So I think it's a great vertical bet. So
all right. Let's go on to race number 10. We've got the $1 million Derby City Distaff for mares 4-year-olds and up, and they're going 7 furlongs. It is a grade 1 event. Ways and Means could be your favorite, Oldie. What do you think?
So I thought there were 2 ways to go here. Either you spread or you single Ways and Means here. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, but I'm leaning towards singling Ways and Means here, because even though the SORs are similar on some of these horses, Ways and Means has been facing grade 1 company, and most of those other ones have been in against grade 2 and grade 3 company. Like Emery, we just watched in the grade 1 Madison, which didn't feature any grade 1 winners, and we thought Emery was gonna be awesome there, and Emery didn't run well, or didn't finish, I should say. He ran well, but and then you have I just thought that Ways and Means, the question for me, and let me add this is in my notes about Ways and Means, and it was in my notes at the Breeders' Cup, and the reason I was not on Ways and Means that day. Ways and Means wants a wet track. If you throw out the 2-turn race in the Kentucky Oaks against Torpedo Anna, Ways and Means best races have all come on a wet track. And right now the forecast is that you're going to get a wet track here too. For Ways and Means. And I think Ways and Means she's going to trip out here for Chad and Pratt. So that's the way I'm leaning right now.
Justin?
This it was one of my tougher races, Scotty, that we handicapped. I know we talked about one of the other ones. I didn't have super amount of confidence in Ways and Means, Oldie, but I do like your angle on the wet track. That's I could see that. I ended up can you still hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to land on.
Are you rolling the dice right now?
What do you mean by that? Like
just,
if I
yeah, you're just.
Well, I really struggle with this race because I wanted to be on Ways and Means, but I just couldn't get there. And I kind of jumped around. I was jumping around between Vava and is it Celia, the one horse? So or Scylla.
The two horses for the courses.
Well, yeah, I mean, why not at Churchill Downs? And they love the distance. I mean, it makes total sense. I mean, you have Mystic Lake also, but I'm going to land on the one horse because it's the second pick and it wins the race sim. You know, I do think the 7 has a big shot, but I think when you look at Scylla, I mean, it's done nothing wrong. I mean, didn't necessarily run well in both those 7 furlongs. I mean, it's built mod off the layoff was a little bit of my concern, Scotty and Oldie, but I mean, he hits at 17%, it says over 260. I mean, I know he doesn't do first out, first timers, but I think you're going to have this horse ready. I mean, she hasn't, again, done necessarily anything wrong when you look in the Breeders' Cup race and then you go back and look at the Ballerina at Saratoga. I mean, so I don't know. I liked Vava too, Scotty. So I was trying to get around Ways and Means essentially.
You know, I really want to like Vava, but I mean, 3 straight layoff lines, and
I know
an amazing mare she has been. $1.8 million, 6 wins, 3 seconds, 3/3 in 15 lifetime races. Amazing. You know, she ran poorly in the Breeders' Cup sprint for fillies and mares, but I looked at this race, guys. I didn't like anything, and so there's no reason for me to even give a horse out. I don't really have a strong opinion. Kind of like you, Justin. Like it just looked like a wide open race. Scylla is interesting. You can't like the rail, but this horse also has a couple of layoff lines. But Scylla is a very, very nice horse. Mm-hmm. I don't think if you're going to get 9-1 on this horse, like the EE Morning Line best, I mean, that might be where your play goes. So I'm going to just watch the betting. I might not play this race, and if I was to play it, I might spread because I wouldn't even be surprised if a horse like my main squeeze won as well. Like that's a nice horse, and if let's just say a lot of times when you're looking at a race and it looks wide open, then look at that horse that can actually close, and that's my main squeeze with 6 wins in 14 lifetime races. So I think the EquinEdge long shot might be ignored here and has a big look.
Okay, can you guys explain something to me?
Yes.
How is Positano Sunset 12-1 when we just watched her beat Emery and Mystic Lake at 7 furlongs in a race where the Mystic Lake and Emery were going at it?
Amazing, right? And not only that, it is only 5%.
Yeah. I mean, the post stinks, but
I mean, it's weird. And these horses, when I see situations like this, they almost never win. Like the system sees something, the algorithm sees something, and it's not just one algorithm. It's not even the EquinEdge long shot.
That is true. And I'll give you one other long shot that I think is live. Papa Mandela doesn't chip horses, unless, very often. And he's got this Copian, who's a grade 1 winner, who, has shown a little bit of ability to be tactical, has done nothing wrong. He's won 4 of 6, is 3-0 at 7 furlongs. This horse at 8-1, I think, has a big look as well. And that's why I was saying, if you're not going to single Ways and Means, you have to spread here.
Yeah.
Bluegrass Dan agrees, I think, there.
Guys,
I'm almost Scotty getting more down with Vava, but
that's what I was just gonna say. Do you see the workouts on? Look at the workouts on this horse, and then not only that, Mystic Lake is a really nice horse, and I know that she didn't run well in the Madison, and I liked her in the Madison, and she's just such a nice animal. And Irad gets off, and I know Zayas is the main rider, but Irad's been the main rider on Mystic Lake, and he gets on Vava, and stays on Vava, and I mean, this horse's training just lights out. So these are really nice horses, though. But Vava's going to have to really be on her game. I mean, off of these layoffs. So, but like if I had to only bet one horse and I had to put my life on it, it would be Vava, I think.
I mean, she won the race from the 10 post in 2020. She won it last year.
Yeah.
So it's a good one. This is it's definitely one of the. I just wasn't sold Oldy on Ways and Means. I mean, I think Ways and Means. You know, I wouldn't fault anybody who really loves Ways and Means, but no, I just thought this race looked a little more wide open.
I think if it's a wet track, though, Ways and Means, you have to upgrade Ways and Means there on a wet track.
Let's see.
And maybe Vava. Maybe it's probably not going to pay much, but
Chuck likes Emery, Capian, and I think Rusty brought up Capian. So did Dan. Copium. Let's see. Let's look at the 2 horse. So yeah, I mean, this horse looks fantastic. I think what I worry about a little bit is the drawing inside for Copium, and then with all the speed lined up as well. And I like it looks like the 6 and the 12 both are faster. Mystic Lake's going to go. Guys, we could be overlooking Mystic Lake. Second off the layoff. I mean, this is such a nice filly. I mean, can you believe the EquinEdge morning line on this horse is 20-1? I mean, this is a horse that's like the favorite so many times. Like, if this horse does clear, Mystic Lake clears. Yeah, I don't think I could leave this horse out.
I don't know that Mystic Lake can clear, though, with Hope Road sitting there.
I mean, maybe not, but Hope Road is drawing that 12 hole too. But Hope Road's fast as heck. But also, if the jockey, Hernandez is looking at Hope Road, I mean, the horse is rated before, so maybe he's thinking, you know how it goes when these jockeys draw an outside post, they think they can rate, and if Hope Road does that, but yeah, again, depending on what the first call is, will depend on what happens in this race most likely. So, but all I know is if Mystic Lake was getting an easy lead and I didn't bet it, I'd be sick.
Yeah, I just feel like Mystic Lake's more of a grade 2, grade 3 horse.
Yeah, she might be, and she kind of has that vibe, doesn't she?
Yeah, and that's what I wrote in my notes.
Yeah.
Before we had even discussed it. So
yeah, you're right, Oldie. She does have that vibe, no doubt about it.
And I wrote that about Emery as well, the 9 horse for Cox. Competitive in the test in the Madison, but those little.
I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you there, and I'll tell you why. I mean, look she drew the rail in the Madison, or the inside, and she drew the rail in the test. I mean, running against top-notch horses, draws a much better post here. Yeah, I mean, maybe we should be talking more about Emery for sure.
The value on her is going to be. I mean, Scotty at 22%. If she's anywhere around 4-1, she's insane value. At 5-1, she's over 100%. I mean,
what a great race. But I mean, look, and also look at Scylla, 3 straight grade 1s for Belmont. I mean, and look at. I mean, but the thing is, she's been big win percentages in every race, and she has disappointed.
I know.
And, this happens with these mares that sometimes they're just done. And maybe that's what happened. I mean, she was in great form, and then she kind of wasn't.
Look at, I mean, on April 18th, that's a bullet work for Belmont. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wow. Like, that's interesting. Maybe I'm sure this one's doing very, very well. From the rail, that's not a great post at all for sure. But Scylla is a very, very nice horse. This is a wonderful race. Like if you like a horse, man, you're getting paid. something about My Main Squeeze too is kind of, pushing at me as well. The horse did not have a good trip last time out, but that's not a great post, I know. So, but all right, let's go on to race number 11. This is the Bourbon Turf Classic, Grade 1, $1 million for 4-year-olds and upward. Integration is 39% to win, Justin.
Well, integration in it. I don't know how that horse was 4-1, Scotty, on the morning line. I'm not sure where that came from. I mean,
but this one has won a couple of races in the last 6 starts, but has really burned money, but has also faced some of the top competition. Those losses were in Grade 1s. The wins were the win was Grade 2, a non-graded stakes race, but I don't know this and a lot of layoff lines for integration for McGahee, but Dettori's aboard, and Dettori's been aboard for the last couple of races with 2 second-place finishes. What kind of trip are we looking at here? What do you think, Justin?
Well, I thought that like 2/3 of the horses shouldn't have been in this race when I first looked at it. I was like, wait, what? Like, I mean, I narrowed, like I cut 2/3 of the horses, Scotty. I mean, integration has faced some just tough horses. It's dropping out of those last 2 races, Scotty, at the Makers Mark at Keeneland, and then race at Gulfstream in the Pegasus World Cup turf. I mean, integration, when you compare integration to the only other horses, you have Spirit of St. Louis, I mean, who won the Pegasus World Cup turf, right? Yeah. I mean, that was in 80. And then you have a horse like Running Bee for Chad. You probably could talk about Gold Phoenix as well, maybe. But I mean, I was really just looking at 110.7, Scotty. I mean, in all reality, for me, Oldy, why don't you talk about your talk pick, and then I'm going to decide, because I already know where you landed.
Let's talk about integration for a second, Scotty. So integration is top win, top Scotty, top GSR, top SOR, which, that I agree with you. This horse looks like a money burner. It looks like it's not going to win, but the system's telling us that the horses that match that profile win about 52% of the time. Yeah. And let's say it's 50-50. And you're looking for a place to single. Wouldn't you take a shot on integration at maybe 4-1 here? And the morning line is telling you something here as well.
Oldie, that horse gonna be even money. Integration, no joke, should be. Yeah, I mean, Spirit.
No, Spirit of St. Louis is going to go off as a favorite, no doubt in my mind.
What?
Who's going to go off as a favorite?
Spirit of St. Louis beat integration 2 back. Spirit of St. Louis laid an absolute turd burger on the fairgrounds turf and left it there in that Grade 2. And by the way, the horse that beat integration that day, I'd rather be blessed, is in this race. Or not integration, beat Spirit of St. Louis that day, is in this race, and again is Lone Pace. So it's something to look out for there. But I think integration, the integration seems to prefer 9 furlongs. But I just think that 4-1 is probably, just because integration hasn't won in a while, 4-1's probably more around where you're going to see this horse.
This race, it 1 in 10 like tower over all of these. Like I mean, I tried to look at Running Bee, the 7, but I'm on integration, Scott. I mean, the horse is coming out of 80s. I mean, I know lost, but it's done nothing wrong. I mean, this horse has won 9 of 12. I mean, Spirit of St. Louis, I think, has a shot, but I'm landing on integration.
And somehow always draws inside too. Always.
Integration? Yeah.
Integration. For the last year, it's been no wider than the 4-post.
But I think can get a good stalking trip from the rail there and just save ground. I think Frankie gets right. So
I love the rail. Dettori's riding very good. I have to go with Integration as well. I didn't like that race over it. I had given out Spirit of St. Louis actually in the Pegasus. I actually really liked Spirit of St. Louis.
Yeah.
And then I bet the horse right back over at Fairgrounds in that Grade 2 event, and that was a much weaker group, and that horse was sitting right there. Now, maybe the horse didn't like Fairgrounds. I guess that could be a thing. The horse was right there and had nothing in the end, and it was disappointing. Integration. I just think this horse is up and coming, doing very well, second off the layoff, and I think this horse is primed to win this race. I think the horse has tactical speed. I think it's a 2-horse race too. I agree. There is 0 in this race in comparison to the class of Integration and Spirit of St. Louis, and they're taking up
61%.
I'm surprised it's not 91.
No, I know. I mean, that was my only concern looking here. Jared, I agree with you. I think, like, oh my gosh, like if that guy anything close to 4-1. I mean,
no, guys. These horses are going to be probably 8-5 and 9-5, 9-5 and 2-1. That's what they're going to be. I'm trying to look to see if there's any kind of sleeper. The only one that has a decent EE morning line is Running B, and I mean the horse is a very nice. What a hard knocking horse this is for Chad Brown, but this one seems a cut below Integration and Spirit of St. Louis.
Okay, can I make a comment on Running B too? Was my third pick, but could be here, has shown speed in the past, could be here to make sure I'd rather be blessed doesn't get away this time. Like he did on the Fairgrounds turf, to make sure that Spirit of St. Louis gets a setup here.
Yeah.
Because we've discussed that. Chad Brown does that. So,
but there's no main speed horse that you're worried about in this case, Oldie. So I don't really think that's the case.
Well, then I think you should be worried about the 5 there, because the 5 already beat Spirit of St. Louis that day on the front end in almost the exact same situation and at 9 furlongs, and then went 12 and didn't want 12. But has almost an 18-point pace advantage here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think is good enough, but if Chad doesn't send somebody with that horse, that horse could get away again.
Yeah.
You could see a repeat. Maybe the problem wasn't the Fairgrounds turf. Maybe the problem was that this horse just got an easy lead, which is what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, the horse went gate to wire. Maybe I don't remember what happened. I don't remember how slow of a pace it was. I don't know.
They went 49 and then 114 and then 138.
Like I said, that's why it was so disappointing. Spirit of St. Louis in that race.
It was hard. I mean, that horse was 86-1 in the 11 post and got that type of lead. And the Fairgrounds turf that whole meet kind of played back and forth. And at times it like hated speed, and the other times it favored.
Yeah, you're right, Justin. It was like that. That's true.
So I mean, I kind of take that race as a fluke, Oldie, a little bit running down there. But
yeah, I'd rather be blessed. I just don't see it. Like, but Integration's likely to run a very good race here. Also, I think Integration is the most likely winner of this race, but obviously Spirit of St. Louis on his best can win this race. So I think it's the 1 or 10, one of those 2 horses. We didn't talk much about Gold Phoenix. I didn't see the EquinEdge long shot, winning this race, you guys, but I think we don't want to be remiss and not cover this horse. Can you guys make a case for this horse?
Not to win, but maybe you have a cold or a ice cold Scotty try in 110-2. I mean, Brad was talking about the pick 3 that's between the Oaks in this Turf Classic and then the Derby. Like, key on Integration here, but I thought Gold Phoenix was underneath Scotty.
All right, and cameo appearance is being mentioned in the chat a little bit. I mean, this one had a wide trip. It's talking about trouble, Oldie. This one has had trouble in like almost every single start.
Yeah.
And it ran decent. It's lightly raced for sure. That was a really good race off the layoff. Irad Ortiz was aboard. Irad does get off to ride redistricting for Chad Brown. Maybe that's one we should be looking at. Is that a sleeper? Second off the layoff?
I mean, those are just cuts below the 70 and 72s. I mean,
Also note,
this
all
is
the
going
horses coming
away.
out of Louisiana are getting Lasix taken off.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get. That's another thing. Let's just say that race was weak over at Fairgrounds. Like, why is Irad getting off that horse for Brendan Walsh? I mean, that was a nice effort. Yet he gets off of that horse and then gets on the 4-horse for Chad Brown, who was in that same race, by the way, and got 6 by 3 3/4 lengths. Maybe they knew that horse needed the race, and maybe the horse is doing really great right now.
I mean,
Maybe we shouldn't be ignoring this horse.
The 8 or the 4?
The 4.
Well, I mean, Irad won the maiden and then won the allowance, so it doesn't surprise me he rides back there. But I think the 4 or 8 could be used in the try or the super. You know, but I don't see them upsetting.
Yeah.
Irad's also off of the 6-horse.
Yeah.
For Sherry DeVoe, who he won on last time. Now, albeit it's off of a layoff, but not that long of a layoff. I mean, I don't know. There's the jockey change here is very interesting. And then Flavian Pratt gets off to ride Running B. So for Chad Brown, and so what happened there? I don't know. It's interesting, anyways. Some things to think about. And then when you look at Cameo Performance, the horse is only 2% to win, but jockey trainer combination of Saez and Walsh is 23%. So, but all right. So really good race. It does look like the favorites, but there is some interesting things. If Integration, we've already seen Spirit of St. Louis, maybe you can't fully trust. And Integration, I think is going to run a good race, but the last couple of times did get second, but those were against much tougher fields. I think this is a much easier field than what Integration's been facing. So I'm landing on the 1 horse.
We're all on the 1.
All right, guys. This is a big one. The Kentucky Derby. Oldie, go ahead. Start us off.
All right. I'll let one of you guys talk about journalism, because I know we have a disagreement over my other horse here, who's Citizen Bull.
Yeah.
And I was making I got people fired up on.
Can we watch the race as you're talking? Okay.
Yeah. So
we might
I
have
got
to
people
cut
off.
it. We might have to cut a few.
No, we're good. Well, I already cut all the ones that that were 60 and under. But I can shrink my screen here and we can fit the whole thing in. There we go.
I agree, Dan. I think journalism is an absolute monster. Going to sit off the speed, and all
right. So here's
really tough.
Here's the argument that I started on Twitter with people. I lectured people that there is not as much speed in this race that people think, and which there is not, by the way. Neo Equus's connections. There's an interview with C2 Racing Stable saying they're going to take back. They want to be in the second flight in this race, so that horse to the right, to the outside of Citizen Bull, is not going to be contesting the lead. Baffert did an interview with Twin Spires where he said Citizen Bull is considerably faster than Rodriguez. He will be on the lead. So Rodriguez is not going to be going for the lead. So that's 2. Okay. The connections of Owen Almighty said, we're not going for the lead. We don't think we can get the distance if we go for the lead. Okay. That's 3. East Avenue, Brendan Walsh said, I think this horse can rate. If we
Oh,
don't get the lead,
stop
it's
it
not
right
the end
now.
of the world.
Stop it.
He's telling a
Stop it.
story. He's telling
He's
a
not
story.
telling a story.
So
No,
he's
No, that is
he's
absolute.
I knew it
That
was going
is,
to make you guys nuts, but
that is
that's the
so.
truth.
Stop
Wait.
it right now.
wait, because I actually like East Avenue, but East Avenue is not rated. There's no
No chance
way.
in hell. No chance in hell.
And also, I posted the picture. East Avenue breaks in when they try to rush him out of the gate. That's what happened at Santa Anita when he couldn't get out of the gate. Or I'm sorry, Del Mar in the Breeders' Cup juvenile, and he broke in, and I posted the picture from a screenshot from our feed when we did the bluegrass. If he does that here with actual other speed, it's not going to matter. He's going to have to rate.
Yeah.
He does not break cleanly, and he's in the middle of the mosh pit of horses there. And if he gets bounced around, you just watch. I'm telling you, and Bob is talking about the fact that Citizen Bull, he admits that basically that Barnes needed the points. He was thinking for Citizen Bull more about the Derby and the Preakness and having to have him ready for that, and that they had grabbed a hold of him and he didn't like it in the Santa Anita Derby. I'm telling you, big price here, big winner. Citizen Bull is going to win this race at 20 to 1 ish.
Whoa.
Yes, at 20 to 1 ish here.
I
Out of the one post and be the first horse to win out of the one post.
so hope that you're right and wrong at the same time.
But you know that this isn't about doing what. And let me tell you who else agrees with me about there not being a lot of pace. Because I was watching something he put out today. Andy Byer thinks that a lot of this is faux pace. A lot of these horses aren't going for the lead or aren't that fast. And he really thinks it's East Avenue or Citizen Bull. And if one of them, and he thinks one of them will clear.
East Avenue gonna clear Citizen Bull. I know
I'm
you're
just,
so against it, but
I'm just telling you that a supposed expert who's been doing this for years has seen this the same way I am and reinforcing exactly what I'm saying here. There is not the pace that people think in this race. And, you know, if either one of those two get loose, you know, that they're going to keep going because they're not going to have to go 22 and 2 and 45 and 3 here. That they're going to go 23 and 2, 23 and 3, and 47 and 2 here.
So
I
guys,
know you think I'm insane, and I enjoy that.
I know you do. So look, journalism is doing so good. I mean, this is just a super horse, and I mean, once they stretch this horse out, like, I mean, he's the real deal. And the longer they go, the better. And I feel like this horse is coming up to this race perfectly. Third race off the layoff, doing very good. Mike McCarthy's done a really good job. And I told you earlier, like, Rispoli is riding really good and very confident right now. And journalism is going to be probably 4 or 5 lengths back early. That's it. And should get a very, very nice trip. I also think Grande, the EquinEdge long shot, lightly raced, ran amazing in the Wood Memorial. Nice second place finish against 9 other horses. This horse wants long. Velasquez always steps up, and so does Pletcher. So I'm not going to be surprised if Grande wins this race. But really, the horse that's ready to win this race, in my mind, is either journalism or sovereignty. I like the EquinEdge picks. So I don't like the 18 post. Don't get me wrong. But if they do go flying, if they don't go flying, journalism wins. If they do fly, sovereignty is going to win. That's my pick.
So one of the other things that Andy Byer brought up was that closers, since they moved to the point system, closers have only won 4 times. Of those 4 times, only 2 of those times, so it's 50. It's out of 14 races. only 2 of those times have been anywhere but the rail. So
Yeah,
half
you
of
know,
them have been horses coming up the rail.
Sovereignty is
Closing.
such a, this is such, guys, I've watched every one of this horse's past performances. He is consistent every time. He's such an honest horse, like closes every single time. Now, a horse like this is always going to be reliant, depending on the class of the race he's in, is going to be reliant on pace. And the pace exists in here. I don't care what anybody says. There's 5 or 6 horses in here. Their natural tendency is to shoot to the lead. They're going fast. Citizen Bull might be in the lead, but they're going fast. So Sovereignty is going to get the setup, and this horse is honest. Sovereignty is going to run good in this race.
And I'll also tell you, Grande is an auto toss for me. Any horse that is running in the Wood Memorial, the Wood Memorial hasn't produced a Derby winner in more than 30 years. No, that's not true. The last Wood Memorial winner was Silver Charm in 1997. So to I believe to win the if I think I have that right, to win the Derby, and that Wood Memorial field was terrible. And I also, I've been listening to a lot of the trainer interviews, which I do every year for this, and I know how Pletcher talks about horses. He did not sound optimistic about Grande's chances here. And Pletcher's usually somebody who loves every horse and thinks every horse has a chance. So for me, I just can't use Grande here. I know it's the long shot, but a Wood Memorial horse that its trainer doesn't seem all that optimistic about is one that I have to let beat me.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Luxor Cafe, the 7 horse?
Can I read you my
Japanese? This is a Kentucky bred, but the Japanese known horse.
Can I read you my note on this horse?
Yeah,
I think it's
please.
actually pretty solid. So the 7, Luxor Cafe, best of the 2 Japanese horses, was one of the few Japan has sent that have the right run style to have a shot to win the Derby. Similar to Coal Battle and Journalism, will be stalking the pace, and much like Journalism, we'll have to make a decision between using some tactical speed early or dropping back to avoid the mosh pit of horses trying to get over from the outside. Middle of the field like this is more ideal for a deep closer or a pace horse. The 3rd stalker type that could sit a Mystic Dan 2 fills type trip if he can get over to the rail. Last race in Japan made a huge eye-popping move turning for home. We'll need to show the same type of finish here.
The thing I like about this one too, Justin, is that this one's been racing in huge fields. Won a race where there was 16 horses in the race, 11 horses, 14 horses, 10 horses. I mean, and has won 4 straight races in a row. So I think Luxor Cafe has a big look.
So go ahead, Oldy. Go ahead.
I was just going to say a lot of these Japanese horses who have come over have either been closers or horses that are involved in the pace. And I think that this horse has the right run style if a Japanese horse is going to win here.
I agree with you, Oldy. I wasn't sold, Scotty, that Journalism was a big favorite, but I am sold that horse is the real deal. The Derby is such a tough race. I think Journalism, we've talked about all the horses I would use I think except for one in any type of bets that if I was spreading. The one we didn't talk about, briefly got talked about, Manny Franco is sending on East Avenue and flying just like Ben Curtis did on Magnitude. East Avenue going, Oldie. There's no rating. Whatever Brennan Walsh is saying, he's blowing smoke. That horse is not rating. And I think, Scotty, that East Avenue does have a legit shot to wire the field in the Kentucky Derby. East Avenue was the top Scotty pick at one point in time when the Kentucky Derby first came out on EquinEdge.
Yeah, it was.
And I saw that and kind of followed it all week. But if Oldie's hearing all this stuff, and I don't follow this because you do, Oldie do, but it wouldn't surprise me on horses like Rodriguez and the 2 and Citizen Bull being in the 1-hole. East Avenue, Oldie, I mean, I get what you're saying about the brakes, but also has broken well and has such amazing speed. This horse 100% could get brave in the Kentucky Derby. If this horse gets to the lead, could be so dangerous. So that'd be my kind of perspective. Ollie, go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, I was going to agree with you. If East Avenue gets to the lead, will be very dangerous. I just don't think, number one, the pace number doesn't think he's faster than Citizen Bull. And I think he's going to end up having start trouble just based on where he's situated here. So,
but if he doesn't, so I put the 12 on top, Scotty. I agree with you on journalism. I agree on Luxor Cafe, Grande. But if the 2 and 4 don't go, Odie, in the 12, there's no other speed on the inside.
The four's not going.
No, that's
Rodriguez.
That's what I'm saying. There's no other speed to the inside.
Yes, that's what I've been saying.
No, but so my point, all this speed, there's nothing on the outside. Owen Almighty not going to the lead and going to take back. I mean, East Avenue should have a great break. That horse could fly and be gone.
Yeah,
I mean it's in the value at 7-1 on EquinEdge is going to be real. Like this horse probably takes some money, but 15-1 or something. It'll be great.
There are only 2 real speed horses in this race who are going to go, and it's East Avenue and Citizen Bull, like I've said. And, if either one of them breaks slow, the other one's going to get an easy lead here.
I hope American Promise scratch because you think, Jared, I don't think East Avenue will be 30-1.
I hope American Promise didn't scratch and I said this earlier in the group, Baeza's connections do not deserve to have that horse in the Derby. All they did was refuse to send the horse somewhere where he could finish second or third and get enough points to get in, and then have a social media campaign complaining about it. They do not deserve to have that horse. I don't care how good the horse is in the Derby.
All right, guys. Well, my pick is going to be Sovereignty. So, and Oldie,
you're leaning on Sovereignty over journalism? I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Yep. Because I really do think all the talk about the non-speed, I think there's going to be a ton of speed. And but I really like journalism, and I think the EquinEdge picks have it. I'm going 18 and 8. I agree though with Oldie. I don't love Grande that much, although it's the EquinEdge long shot. I think there's another one in there, like maybe Luxor Cafe. I told you guys this when we had our meeting. I don't like any of the speed horses. None. In fact, I don't even think they're going to be in the exotics. I think every one of these speed horses are going to stop. Citizen Bull, Rodriguez, all the other ones, they're stopping. And I told you, I gave you one other long shot, you guys. I mentioned this to you guys in our meeting, but I thought Chunk of Gold is an interesting long shot. I was surprised to see that the EquinEdge morning line was 12-1. Why? So it comes out of the Louisiana Derby. It wants to go long. Just a hunch play.
I love that horse in the Troienne Super, Scotty.
Yeah.
But I agree. I thought that horse had a shot, but I thought more maybe underneath.
Brad, great to have you. Thank you so much. Hopefully we're going to see you more.
Yeah,
yes.
And Scotty, can you talk about one other thing for the group here?
Sure.
GSR in Grade 1 races, GSR is under 70.
Where? They win almost never. Oh yeah, no, almost never. That's a good point, Oldie. Oh yeah, yeah. No, you're looking for you need horses in the 90s or 80s to win in the GSR to win the Derby. Absolutely, and almost any Grade 1 race.
Yeah.
So
guys, you can do that almost reflexively and just take those horses out of the race for the win and eliminate them. That was
look at Rodriguez. That's a really great point. I'm glad you brought that up, Oldie. Look at Rodriguez. That's a 60 GSR.
Yep.
And Oldie,
no part of this distance.
And needs the lead on top of it. And
not going to put him there. So
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Like, I mean, that's an also ran. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, forget about it. You know,
Look who's at the top of the GSR.
Yeah.
well, look who else is at the top of the GSR though.
No, I know they're both up there.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's so much.
And we should talk about Cole Battle a little bit too, Justin, before we go.
No, I agree.
Hey guys, well, you listen. This
gotta
dog
go.
of mine is gonna lose her mind, and I've got this cold. Probably people are tired of seeing me wipe my nose. So I love you guys, everybody. Good luck in the Derby. Also, we are doing a show, so make sure you let everybody know we're doing a show on Saturday. So hopefully you guys can join us. But we'll see you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay. No, you guys stay. You guys stay.
Well, we're going to stay and talk about Cole Battle.
You guys stay.
Thanks, Scotty.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much. Okay, love you guys. Appreciate it.
Love you too. Well, so we've been on Cole Battle, Oldy, since was it back at Remington or Delta? I can't
Remington,
remember.
I think. Remington.
Yeah, it might have been. It was the Springboard Mile 7-1, right? But you, what are your thoughts on Cole Battle here?
I think Cole Battle. So, Lonnie Riley said that he, skipped a work with Cole Battle going into the Arkansas Derby because the actual goal was the Kentucky Derby, and he didn't want to overwork him there. And that was one of the hottest paces. And he broke a little eager and seemed like he had too much energy. I think Cole Battle could run back something big here. And I think his speed figures were set incorrectly because he's a Lonnie Briley horse and not a Todd Pletcher horse or a Bob Baffert horse. And, that Rebel was faster than the Fountain of Youth or Holy Bull. And the speed figures for those races came back faster than the Rebel. And, that's an example of the kind of, I'm going to call it chicanery that goes on with that kind of stuff when it's a big name trainer like Mod or Pletcher or somebody like that that's there. I think Cole Battle has the chance to stalk the pace here like he did in the Rebel. He could, depending on how cleanly and how well he's able to get over, and if he doesn't get hung out super wide at the first turn, I think those are all possibilities. But I think, is a factor and could be a factor if the speed stops.
Brad, you have a Derby future on journalism, Brad, at 52-1. That's amazing.
Brad, mine's only 19-1, I want to say. And I've Cole Battle at 40-1 or 48-1.
Yeah, Brad got 47. We've been on Cole Battle all along. I thought probably a cut underneath to win the Derby. I would find if I was using any more than a few horses, I would have to probably use just because we've been on this. I thought was more probably underneath, but I would use this horse in my my supers, and maybe a try. Because the price is going to be right. I just think that Cole Battle gets overlooked, Oldie, because Lonnie Briley and Cole Battle's a nice horse. Has been running a lot. So it's going to be interesting kind of what happens here with this race. But my hope, I think, to your point, is that they take back to some extent with the other, being the 16 post. They're going to have to show some amount of speed, but find a good spot, and this horse probably sits a good trip.
And he does have some tactical speed, so that's not impossible.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Private Ross, you're talking about Brian Hernandez, who went on Mystic Dan, riding Burnham Square.
And I love Burnham Square in the Bluegrass. I do not like the closing run style for this race here.
Yeah.
And beyond what we talked about, for Sandman, Publisher, and Scotty's horse Sovereignty, that they need everything to go right, and they need everything within the trip to be perfect in order to win, or they'll come up just short like they did last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those you and I think I would agree.
Yeah.
All right, brother. That was fun. We time wise, everybody, that was about perfect. We got through a little over 2 hours. What else? Oldie, anything else?
I think that's it. Just, do your best to organize your bets in ways that you can take advantage of some of the potential prices here. Remember on Derby Day, typically there's 2 or 3 big prices, and try to figure those out. And maybe some of them, like last year, we had an E pick that paid $98. So look for those. The last 2 years, the pick six has paid over $1 million. So let's find a way to crush that, and we will hopefully see you on Saturday at 2:30 Eastern. Hope you spend your Kentucky Derby with us, and Scotty and David Harrison as well. And thank you, everybody.
So we'll be live Saturday, 2:30 Eastern, right? Oldie, 11:30 Pacific. Right before, I believe, race 7, if I remember right.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And Jared, I saw that. Would you say 33-1 on East Avenue? That's pretty amazing. I show like fixed odds at 18. So I still think East Avenue going to take money, Jared, but we'll see. But we'll see. It's going to be amazing. But Oldie, that was fun. Thanks everybody for being here. Everybody. We'll see you Saturday at 2:30 Eastern. Justin, thanks all.
Thanks.